Over to Cora Henderson over at Pitt and Frank LLC. Cora, Jenny sent us this email saying she's thrilled to be closing on her new home at the end of the month, and Jenny says she wants to be as prepared for moving in as possible. And she writes, I've already gotten a list of essentials like change locks, cleaning supplies, basic tools, first night box, I guess when she stays there the first night. She's asking us for any additional recommendations. Brett, you may want to jump in on this as well. And I came up with a short list. Set up utilities. You want to make sure electricity has been turned over, water, gas, internet, trash collection, if it's not included in your HOA. Change your address with the United States Postal Service. Update your driver's license and vehicle registration. Set up auto pay for your mortgage and utilities even, and that's easy to make it happen. And then create an emergency fund for unexpected home expenses. Thoughts, Cora? Anything else that you would add?
I think you covered it, Bob. I'm super proud. I mean, you're magnificent. And I think that that's so important to have the real estate professional that's involved in the transaction, the agent, really coach you on some of those guidelines. Just to piggyback on what you said, utilities, unfortunately, can take sometimes 3 to 4 business days. So, it's not a same day call, despite, that counterintuitive, I should just be able to call and they push a button and it's going to click into my name. It doesn't often work that way. So I think planning ahead for those, I love the change of address bit, certainly with the United States Post Service, and maybe even setting up some forwarding if you're moving from a different location, so you have your mail at your former location as well. But then any other types of legal requirements, if you hold different licenses, you want to update your new address with that. You want to make arrangements for your driver's license. So there is a state law that requires they only let you have so many days before you have to update your residence on your driver's license. So you may or may not be able to do that online. You may have to go in person. And so just making your checklist on that, and certainly if you are getting financing, making sure that you're making your mortgage payments. You do not want to get off on a bad foot. And then lastly, Bob, I really want to reiterate what you said about a little bit of a nest egg for different home improvements. I think a lot of times you may or may not have a limited home warranty in place. And so having that accessible at your fingertips, we so want a new home these days. And even if there were repairs made to the property, nothing's perfect. I always tell people, welcome to home ownership when things break. And sometimes it stinks. It breaks sooner than you think, maybe a week after closing, a couple months. Some people have a good lucky streak of a couple years, but nonetheless, having the financial wherewithal to make those repairs in the event you are one of those unlucky few, having your home warranty information, and really just having a good real estate agent where you can call and say, I really need to get an HVAC person out here. I don't think it's working right. Who do I need to talk to? They are your best referral source.
You got it. You better believe it. Brad, do you want to add anything to that?
The only thing I want to add is if you're moving into a house that has been vacant, and they shut the water off. Okay. When you turn that water back on, there's a high likelihood that main water valve is going to leak. So be prepared for that. Also be prepared that there may be other lines that had frozen and have broken. So whether it's a spigot outside, whether it's, some other water line in the house, when you move in and you turn that water back on, just make sure that you're ready to shut it back off if there is any evidence of water leaking, because if you're not paying attention to it, that water, it damages things really, really quickly.
Great point. And with the door locks too, you may want to check all the windows just to make sure they're locked from a safety standpoint.
And backing up to the water main line, turning on and off, it will leak because the seal is dried out. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
Well, yes. So because those valves are not manipulated very often, they do seize up and they do leak when you use them. So when you turn the water back on, they may have a leak there, but you may also find that there's a leak elsewhere in the house. And that was one of the reasons why the water was shut off. We see that a lot in vacant homes, particularly over the winter months.
A reminder that if you want to see what sellers are actually saying about us, you can go to our YouTube channel, LouisvilleSellersTalk.com. I do some interviews with our sellers at closing. That's LouisvilleSellersTalk.com.